Hey Wargamers, welcome back to the channel, Death from Above Wargaming. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are here with some deep dive action, Wave 2. Wave 2.
Yeah.
So, we've got a whole
More
series.
unboxing action.
Yes, indeed. And we're gonna go deep. We're gonna get them on the green screen turntable as promised, get some more close-ups. We've actually got some other miniatures to compare them to, some 3D prints, some of the old Ironwind stuff. We don't have that for everyone. But for this one, we happen to hit all four. So we're going to do the Urban Lance. It's a good one.
Why not?
All right.
One of my original, probably one of my first favorites in this box.
Yeah? Which one's that? The Raven?
The Raven.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
Kevin loves his Ravens.
I think it might have been my first miniature.
Your first love.
Yeah, my first
Your
love.
First high school mech.
But even in like when I played like the Mech Warrior games in the past, I always loved starting off with a Raven or something similar.
Cool. Yeah. It's a cool mech.
Yeah.
Well, guys, stay tuned. The deep dive is coming right up. All right, guys, here we are. Kevin, since you weren't here last time, you get the honors of opening every box we go through.
Thank you. I will promise not to severely tear the seal.
It's okay.
Damage the cardboard.
I have the boxes that I plan on keeping. So I love that every box does come with a set of Alpha Strike cards. And not just 4, Kevin. Not just 4. I think there's more than 4 in here. I think...
like 2 variants?
I think there are different pilots that you can get. So let's say...
Did they change up the variants on them?
So we got a Raven 1X, an Enforcer 4R, Hunchback 4G. Are these double-sided? Oh, look at that. They are. So you have 2 variants of the Enforcer, 2 variants of the Raven, 4X and 3X, Hunchback 4G and 5M, and then the Victor 9B and 9D. 9D is one of my favorites.
It's the 1X, but we will forgive you.
Yeah, I know it's not your
4X
favorite.
4X was my favorite.
And then you got 4 pilots.
Cool.
Curtis Fong.
Dieterman Bauman.
Classic Hunchback pilot. Trixie Cottonwood. Sounds like the kind of girl you meet at you know. And Luca Falacci. Sounds like my cousin. So, very cool.
If they are backers, then I apologize for mangling your names.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's different ones, too, on the back. Different pilots on the back. Kristen Marek, pilot in the Hunchback. She's got the name.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, very cool. So, great. So you get eight cards here. 4 of them are doubles. Well, actually, all of them are double-sided. 4 of them are mechs. 4 of them are pilots. Pilots have those special abilities.
Did the first wave have a double-sided Alpha Strike card? I do not recall.
I don't recall either. I think they did, though. I do remember the pilot cards.
It's a nice touch, though. I like that you get the variants to choose from there. And
I do.
On a quick card.
I do.
So, I will start with the one that I mentioned in the
pregame? The pregame warm-up?
There it is, the Raven.
So tell us what you love about this one, Kevin. First time laying eyes on this beauty.
I mean, it's the Raven. You know, there's not a whole lot that they had to really do with this one. I think that's one of those designs that, you know, as we look at the Ironwind metals and the more traditional sculpt,
here it is.
You know, it's so iconic to begin with the bird beak, right? That you didn't have to change much. I think they just scaled it up, and beyond that, the design is predominantly the same.
So let's put them next to each other. The one thing I think I immediately noticed is the new Raven is actually bigger.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, so Meteor, it's got more substance to it.
And in general, right, I think all the miniatures, right, they've scaled up a bit in a good way to give them that girth. But I think overall the design hasn't changed, is where I was going with that, is aside from the scaling in different parts, especially in the torso, the cockpit, whatever that is. The
beak, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the added detail, though, you know, if you compare it to the old one. I mean, I think the old one, honestly, was probably one of the better Ironwind designs.
Yeah.
So it was sort of tough to compete with that to begin with, but just the level of detail on, like, the electronic warfare equipment or the tag or whatever it is on that arm, right? The dual lasers. I like the cockpit's way more recessed, so you can get a better paint job in there. Very cool.
Yeah. I am a big fan of the Raven. I might try to acquire more than one of those.
Yeah, well.
And I will...
Might be trading for more victors.
I will put them all in your rear arc.
Oh my god. Keep your Ravens out of my rear arc, Kevin. So I'll be honest, my favorite in this box is the Victor.
Yeah, I think
from a mech perspective.
Long overdue for a makeover.
So I don't have the Ironwind Metals one. I do have the Alpha Strike. Yes, the Alpha Strike plastic one.
I don't know that the Ironwind Metals one is that much better as far as like the natural pose. I think you really had to, from what I recall, I had to like really
hack it up,
stretch it out, like prop the arms in like an awkward way.
Yeah,
it suffers from the, I don't know what you call that, the pinched like shoulder blades.
yeah, right, exactly. Right, so much more narrow.
But now it looks like a true assault.
It's big. It's menacing. And
that AC-20 just looks deadly.
Well, I like to believe it's a Gauss rifle, Kevin, because I play in the future.
That's fair enough.
But no,
does the future one not have a
AC-20? No, I mean this is an older variant, but I mean it's the classic variant, right? AC-20 Victor's fantastic. The cockpit I love. Yeah. Right? They kept that iconic, whatever you want to call it.
Stormtrooper helmet, but they've kind of brought it in a little bit. Yeah. It's not as gaudy.
Yeah, exactly. Tom and I were talking about the wrist-mounted weapons, how cool they are.
I think what I noticed on this one that's much different is that, I don't know if it's, I guess it did have it before, but the jetpack on the back. Sorry.
That's fine.
It's rather unique, right? They're not just like exhaust ports. It's almost like jet turbines on the rear. Yeah,
it is very cool. And, again, the pose, you kind of talked about the size of it, but just the pose of this thing in that, like, action stance, right? It just, again,
when that thing gets painted up, I will be intimidated by it.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. All right, which one do you want to go to next?
I guess we'll do the Hunchback. All right, since we're talking AC-20s.
Hunchback it is. So I will tell you, this thing, fantastic job.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Hunchback. I mean, it's got that same strange, I don't know the science behind it, but the cockpit has sort of the grill.
The louvers.
It's got like the manifold, grill, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah. I mean, I like what they did with the autocannon. So here are two old ones, right? Yeah. So this is the Ironwind one, which...
That barrel is a little too stubby. It's like, what are you shooting like?
Even like the arms and the legs. Like, look at the profile of this thing. It turns invisible when you turn it sideways.
Right.
Now this one, on the other hand, the new one, the Wave 2 one, I mean, this has not only substance, but detail all over the Mini, right?
Right.
I mean, there's little... pistons and plates and creases. Right, that's a great word for it, right? Like, all that stuff is there. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And this is a 3D print. This is the Mech Warrior Online. And this is old. This is not a Polygon Masterworks sculpt. This was well before that era. But just, from a size perspective, it's still a little small. And the detail's just nowhere near comparable.
What is the Hunchback at 50?
50 tons, yeah.
I guess that's fair for 50-tonner.
Yeah.
I think they got the girthiness right, but this one definitely has the classic look to it. They gave it a kind of update, more of a modern look. I don't know how else to describe it. You know? I think it's just the extra detail.
Yeah, I think so too.
But otherwise, a lot of the telltale bits are there, right? Like the strange, I don't know if that's like a...
this thing?
Heat sink in the back? No, it's bedroll.
This thing. Yes. Tom was speculating it was an ammo bin, but I do believe it is a heat dissipation unit, I believe. Somebody told me what it was, and now I forget already.
It's an extra sleeping bag for long night travel.
Right. That's the septic tank.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting on like 20 tons of autocannon ammo, so
every time it fires, you might lose your valve.
That's right. So it's got the extra tank. But yeah, this is a fantastic design. Again, great action pose. so much better than the older designs by a long shot. Very happy with that mini. And the other one I'm really happy with is the Enforcer. All right, the Enforcer's always been a 50-ton mech, right? Yeah. Except for this is the Ironwind sculpt. It's not necessarily that much taller, but it's like way skinnier, right?
Yeah.
And it's
not. I guess the original one wasn't too bad.
Not too bad.
But it definitely has the. I've seen this in the online game where it's more of like it almost looks like a football helmet, right?
Correct. Yeah.
On the Enforcer, so they kept that, and I think it's definitely more intimidating. The gun barrels are much larger. It has that sort of what you expect, just the
yeah, and even
dual wielding large barrel weapons.
Just the proportionality. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Between the upper half and the lower half, it seems more reasonable. Like, from a stability perspective, I guess, right?
Right.
Like this
practical design.
This thing just looks ready to fall over. If it takes a hit to the back or whatever, it'll just fall over. This is another one of those older 3D prints.
Has the look, but I think the one you have that one there just doesn't have the scale, the appropriate scale.
Yeah, not appropriate scale. And I made this comment before about
the
3D
together,
prints.
You wouldn't even know they were the same.
Yeah, and I made this comment about 3D prints, right? And you can find some good 3D printers, or if you have one yourself, obviously you can keep printing them until you get the scale right. But there's just something to be said about being able to take them out of the box, and they're perfectly scaled, they're ready to go. This is like the Canon scaling now. There was attention to detail there. That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
And if I put the 50-tonner next to the 80-tonner,
it seems appropriate.
It's appropriate, right? Exactly. I mean, we haven't. The only one I complained about was the Black Knight, but Tom reassured me that it was appropriately scaled. I thought it was a little tall, but he said it's very thin. So
yeah,
basketball player, I guess. But I love it. I love it. So we got some great mechs in the Urban Lance, I was going to say from a practical use perspective, like, getting these mechs in your force, these are mechs that you want in your force, right? I don't think there's anything in here that, like, is a bad mech.
I think it's one of the, not the only, but one of the very appropriately themed lances. Like, that is definitely a solid urban lance right there.
Yeah.
Everything you need when you're coming around the corner of Fifth Avenue.
Autocannons galore.
Right.
Right, and it's true. And, I think you could play this out of the box and be pretty successful.
Yeah. Assuming you have some midway cover to utilize. You definitely have to get in. This is more of a brawling.
Of course, though, if you're playing with that Gauss rifle, Victor.
Oh, sorry.
And the AC-10 Hunchback.
Right.
Then you got a little more range as well.
I guess the Raven 2X. So there are options.
There are lots of great variants.
I don't know about the Hunchback, though. But it's got that. He's got
that AC-10 variant. Right, yeah. That's the one I like to use.
It's that one, the P? No, the P's the one with all the lasers, right? Like 50
No, I think you're
50
right.
mediums.
I think...
Or is that the H?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys will have to tell us. I'd have to look it up. But I
thought
thought
the P has all the lasers.
Yeah, one of them has an AC-10 and 4 mediums.
It might be the G. The G might be the one, because I think the H is the one with the AC-20.
Yeah, that I believe so. Yeah.
Anyway, we should have had our reference guide here.
Nah, it's more fun just
working off memory.
Yeah, working off
Let people
memory.
Correct us in the comments.
That's right. People love correcting us in the comments, Kevin. All right. So that's the Urban Lance. What's your final impression? You in love?
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of the first ones I put on the must-have list.
Agreed. Yeah, and I love this. I love the Victor. It's so cool. Can't wait to paint it up. I believe I have this earmarked for the Crucis Lancers, Kevin.
Very nice.
It's going to be nice olive green with like the big red stripe flanked by little white stripes. Should be very cool. 8th Crucis Lancers.
I can't remember where I signed mine. I have like a whole spreadsheet of where everyone's
going. Yes. Yeah. It was funny. We were talking about this in the main like opening vid that I did with Tom. And I was asking him, I was like, oh, what are you going to do for your force? He's like, I don't know. Yeah. And I was like, well, Kevin and I, we already know. We've known for months.
Tom has like half his force plotted for like ComStar, I'm sure.
Right. He'll just show up with a Word of Blake force.
Right. I spray painted them all white.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And they're done. All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for watching. We're going to wrap up this Urban Lance deep dive video. I hope you enjoyed it, and keep your eyes open. We got more of this good box opening, deep dive goodness coming your way.
Going rural next.
Rural lands. Is there a rural? There should have been a suburban land.
I think that star. It's going to be the rural star.
Oh, we're doing the ad hoc. We're doing the ad hoc star next. It's exciting, guys.
I mean, it's kind of got a rural theme.
Well, stay tuned. It's coming your way soon.